In the grand tapestry of existence, humanity has perpetually grappled with the enigma of self-discovery. The eternal questions of, who am I? And, what am I? Have haunted the corridors of human consciousness since the dawn of time. Through the realms of science, spirituality, and philosophy, humanity has endeavored to unravel the mystery of its own beingness. Governments and institutions have sought to impose order and purpose, yet the anomalies of human existence persist. The cacophony of answers offered by the world has only served to deepen the confusion and bewilderment of the masses. The pursuit of truth is, in essence, the pursuit of self. The ancient maxim, "Know thyself," echoes through the chambers of human awareness, a reminder that true understanding lies in the realm of the self. Yet, humanity's propensity for self-destruction, manifest in the scourges of war, death, starvation, and genocide, has consistently thwarted its quest for self-discovery. Only when humanity turns its gaze inward, toward the depths of its own beingness, will it find the truth it seeks. The whispered secret of the ages is that humanity is not merely a mortal coil, but an eternal, conscious being, a Kanbi. The Kanbi's essence is emanation, a boundless, dynamic force that courses through the very fabric of existence. Its natural state is one of expansion, growth, and transformation, an eternal odyssey of self-discovery. In this grand adventure, the Kanbi's potential is limitless, its trajectory a soaring arc of evolution. To become more, to expand, to grow, to transcend, is the fundamental impulse of the Kanbi. And it is here, within the realm of the self, that humanity shall ultimately find the truth it has sought for so long. LifeRoute was born from the spiritual and mental debris that has accumulated from the hemlines of religious and philosophical innovators throughout history. This practical, applied spiritual philosophy is the thread that weaves together the fabric of life. LifeRoute restores the Kanbi, the eternal, conscious being, to its natural spiritual state. By studying and applying LifeRoute, individuals are progressively guided toward a restored sense of self. As one embarks on this journey, they may say, LifeRoute awakens you to remember who you truly are. It dismantles the lies we tell ourselves, false narratives, and identities we've attached to, as well as unhealthy relationships. LifeRoute embraces authenticity within the individual, recognizing that truth can only be found within one's own self. It tears down the illusions that obscure our true nature, and beneath the rubble and ashes of these illusions, we discover ourselves. So, what exactly is a Kanbi? Let's start with the basics. Kanbi isn't just a catchy term, it's born from the words conscious and being. Picture this. You're not just navigating life with a mind and body. At your core, you're a Kanbi, a timeless, eternal being. It's not about what you possess, it's about recognizing what you inherently are. You've got the mind and body essentials, but underneath, you're a Kanbi. It's not something you acquire, it's a truth that's always been there. A Kanbi isn't constrained by the ticking of the clock, it's your forever essence. Your journey did not begin with your first breath, and it won't conclude with your last. You're not a temporary player in life's game. You're the timeless main character, scripting a unique adventure. Kanbi isn't some abstract concept. It's your in-the-moment, hug-your-past kind of reality. It's the recognition that life is more than routine. It's a game, and you're the player. Imagine waking up each day knowing you're not just navigating life, you're shaping it. Welcome to LifeRoute. Welcome to your awakening. And may life never be the same again. When we think about where we came from or why we are here, these words from Genesis often come to our mind. In the beginning God created. But these images produced from the Bible often paint a fanciful and sometimes frightening depiction of a God and our relationship to Him. But once we remove the layers of myth and dogma, we begin to uncover a core common truth which is concealed deep within every religion. What then do we discover about our origins once we remove tradition and dogma? Firstly, we realize that there never was a beginning. Our origins stretch back far beyond the creation of this world. We as conscious beings are eternal. Just as matter is never destroyed but only changes form, we too, as conscious beings, will always be and always have been. Right now, we experience life as separate individual conscious beings, but this hasn't always been the case. In order to fully comprehend how conscious beings evolve and change, we need to understand the purpose of the Kanbi. The nature of the conscious being, or Kanbi, is eternal emanation and expansion. In other words, Kanbi's primary purpose or nature is eternal progression. Before consciousness split into individual bubbles of consciousness, we were just one. The emanation or evolution of the Kanbi is only accomplished by the expansion of consciousness. Since this shift in consciousness began, Source now experiences reality as through separate individual bubbles of conscious awareness. That's you. You are a Kanbi, an individual spark of consciousness. It is now our task to continue our emanation and expansion. We do this by raising our level of consciousness. This allows us as Kanbis to see, not from the ego's limited sight, but from the perspective of a much higher state of consciousness. This high level of sight is found within Source. Source is what we truly are. We can not only regain our original sight from before the split, but our sight will have expanded or progressed even further than what it was. What fosters true growth? For there to be any kind of growth in life, there needs to be an obstacle of sorts to overcome. Without an opposing force to overcome, life would just be still. Our existence would be static, having no movement, thought, or purpose. We need the opposing force for life to be actual life. Like everything else, the opposing force has its origins within Source. Again, without it, Source would be nothing but static. But, how can God or Source become more than it already is? Often those who are raised within monotheist religions like Christianity, Judaism, and Islam have a preconceived idea of God being this personal being that is out there, somewhere. Once we remove this limiting belief or idea found within many religious traditions, we begin to see God, or Source, a lot differently. It can be found that God is not this supernatural being whom is separate from us. Therefore, from here on out, when discussing God, I will use the term Source. We see within most monotheist religious traditions a story of Adam and Eve, whom represent all of mankind, experiencing a shift in consciousness after the fall. Before the fall, Source was one, with no knowledge or awareness of evil, sickness, or death. The fall, in the Garden of Eden, can be seen as a separation within Source. Instead of a unified conscious awareness, Source now is experiencing the world through infinite sparks of consciousness. You are one of those sparks. You are a Kanbi, a conscious being. The fall represents our shift in consciousness. This shift is the opposing force that we require for emanation. By seeing and experiencing reality through separate sparks of consciousness, we are given the necessary opposing force which can aid us in true spiritual emanation and expansion. Because growth requires opposition, Source needed limits to its own level of consciousness or sight. By limiting Source's sight, we are given the opportunity to use this limitation or opposing force as a means to expansion. We do this by overcoming the opposing force. It doesn't take much effort for us to see the opposing force at work within and around our life. It seems to be constantly there. Some would say that there is too much of it in this world and life is in an imbalanced state. But other people disagree. While acknowledging the obvious pain and suffering within the world, they see obstacles and hardships as opportunity for growth. Where some people may see tragedy, another person may see it as an opportunity for love and healing. The difference in sight is a difference in levels of consciousness. Someone, who sees life as something that is happening to them, is drawing their sight from a lower level of consciousness than someone who sees opposition in life as spiritual opportunity for growth. Emanation takes place by overcoming the opposing force, and we can only do this by drawing our sight from a higher state of consciousness or Source. Anytime that we allow the opposing force to limit our expansion, we are actually drawing our sight from the lower opposing force. Emanation can only occur for an individual when both higher and lower forces are present. At this point, the Kanbi will have the opportunity to draw sight from one of the two forces present. If they should choose to draw energy from the lower force, then emanation will be stalled. Stalled emanation creates static within our lives. There isn't any growth. When this takes place, the opposing force is going to continue to come back over and over again in different situations until its purpose is accomplished, which is aiding us in our expansion. When we experience trials of any kind, they are never meant as punishment, and nor should we fear them. They are opportunities directly from Source picked out for us individually based upon exactly what we need in this life for us to continue our eternal progression. So, if we begin to look at the trials in our lives as spiritual opportunities from Source, we can begin to see differently. This in turn will allow us to be more proactive and less reactive. By looking within and connecting with Source, we will begin to understand why certain things take place, and we will be better equipped in handling lower forces. The more we can draw upon the higher forces of Source and overcome the opposing force, the less negative impact the opposing force will have upon us. Life will seem to be moving and flowing. Next, our personal portion. Source is aware of exactly what lessons we need to learn and what we need to experience for us to continue forward in our spiritual journey. In every lifetime that we come here and incarnate, we come with what is called our personal portion. Our portion consists of exactly what we need in this life in order to spiritually progress. Our personal portion can be compared to what others often refer to as karma. It consists of trials and blessings that are produced from actions we have taken in the past. Based on our current level of consciousness, our portion will provide us with the perfect circumstances that we need for our emanation. Our portion will come to us in the form of 3 different states or conditions. 1. Lessons. Lessons are an event or circumstance placed within in our lives, for the purpose of us to learn and grow. Without the lessons, we would have no opportunity to increase our level of consciousness. Lessons aid us in seeing things differently. Anytime we fail to learn a specific lesson, the lesson will continue to appear over and over again in different but similar circumstances until we master it. 2. Debt. Debt is when we experience any type of loss in our lives. Loss can be financial, material, relationship, health, etc. It's important to keep in mind that debt or loss is never a means of punishment. We don't experience debt in our lives because we did something wrong. Debt comes from the lower forces and is meant as opportunity for growth. Its main purpose is to push us to drop our reactive ego consciousness of duality and attachment, and to see things differently. Debt is almost always about non-attachment. Because non-attachment is one of our biggest lessons, it is also one of our most painful lessons. We cannot grow if we are in a state of bondage. By experiencing debt or loss, we can begin to realize that loss is an illusion. When a death occurs, it can be a time of tremendous grief, pain, and confusion. Death is a condition that we are all faced with in this stage of our spiritual progression. Of course, we should feel pain. Feeling pain and grief are natural, and it would be unhealthy to try and restrict yourself from feeling the effects of a loss. Death usually occurs because we have nothing else to learn in this incarnation. So, we drop our bodies. Once ready, we pick up another body and continue in our spiritual journey. Often, when we reincarnate, we are doing so with loved ones we were close to in previous incarnations. 3. Bestowment. The final way our portion comes to us is in the form of bestowment. A bestowment is a positive blessing or circumstance we are given in our life. The more we draw upon higher force energy, and the more lessons we are open to learning, the more bestowment that will be manifested in this life and the next. Bestowment is not meant to be a reward. There is no man in the sky rewarding or punishing us for our choices. Bestowment is simply the result of spiritual progression or emanation. It's a sign we are moving, which is what we are meant to be doing. Bestowment can come to us in the form of financial, material, relationships, the ability to overcome trials with more ease, good health, a sense of peace and fulfillment in life, etc. The disclaimer: every bestowment we are born with or given in our lives is also a lesson. Every blessing we receive has attached lesson. If you were born into a life of wealth or power, it is easy to see this as a portion in the form of bestowment. But with great blessings will always come bigger lessons. Sometimes huge blessings can hinder our spiritual progression if we are not careful. LifeRoute was born from a deep passion for understanding the mysteries of existence. It is an applied spiritual philosophy that has the potential to transform lives. It's about you and your unique journey towards spiritual progression and awakening. LifeRoute is an invitation to explore your own path, to delve into the depths of self-discovery and intentional living. It stands as a testament to the power of introspection and the transformative impact of spiritual exploration. Welcome to LifeRoute, where your journey is the destination. And may your life never be the same again. Stay tuned for additional content on the applied spiritual philosophy of LifeRoute, and how you can apply the philosophy directly to your own life. Thank you for watching until the very end. Please, do not forget to like and subscribe. Also, let me know in the comments what resonated with you.